Hi, and welcome to session two. We are today going to be focusing on branding. Okay, so branding. Some of you may already have branding in place and have it all sussed out and do it really, really well. And others are still learning about what branding actually is. Or you may have heard a lot about branding, but not really sure how to implement that. So, branding is typically marketing your company in the right way that helps to present yourself, that also actually psychologically helps to influence buyers. And in our industry, the buyers are the music supervisors or other key decision makers that license music across all forms of media. And in today's market, marketing yourself as a brand and your music is a must. You can't spend lots of time writing, recording, or signing new music and then forget to brand or market it in the right way. And if you don't get the word out there, how can you expect your music to be licensed or expect your company or yourself as an individual to grow? Your music alone or the music you represent is not enough these days to sustain you in the days of social media if you want to compete with what is currently out there. So, what actually is branding? So, we're fairly confident that everyone understands why marketing is important for businesses or yourself as an individual, as an artist to succeed. After all, you can offer a truly fantastic product or service, but if you don't get the word out, how can you expect to grow? And your service or product is obviously music and licensing. And it's no good if it's just going to be sat in your music library or on your computer, or only getting a few streams or not getting it to the people that matter. Some people don't deem brand marketing with resistance. They don't brand it as important, or they're just unsure about it. And many consider spending time and money promoting your brand a bit of a waste of money and time, and prefer to stick straight to product marketing or just not giving any focus to it whatsoever and just hope that a sync agent will pick up your music or a music supervisor will just happen to just stumble across it and license it. But in the age of social media, your brand is an integral part of your success. Good services alone won't sustain you these days. And to avoid social media is impossible in today's current market, especially in our industry as well. But yet, still, so many disregard social media and branding as being an important part. It is an absolute must for companies and creatives that want to outshine the competition and want to stand out. And that is now more important than ever with the industry being so saturated. So, what is actually brand marketing? So, brand marketing is a long-term strategy that includes one's brand in every aspect. Essentially, it tells consumers and it tells, in our industry, the sync agencies and the music supervisors exactly who you are, what your story is, and what your music is about. Its goal is to strategically improve brand recognition, very important as a creative and as a company representing music, raise brand awareness, consideration, and value through the growth of a loyal customer base. And your customer base will be the music supervisors, possibly the sync agents, maybe even film directors or anyone that wishes to license music. So this can be achieved through continually and consistently communicating a brand's identity and values in meaningful and engaging ways. For example, when you think of a brand like Coca-Cola, which came first for the strongest US brand in 2020, what comes to mind? So automatically, you'll think the color red. You may think of perhaps the big celebrities they use in their adverts. But definitely, you know their brand and you know it well. Secondly, maybe Apple, for instance. Everyone knows the Apple brand. McDonald's as well. And obviously they have a lot of money to be able to spend in this, but you don't always need. You can do it literally on a shoestring. It's being creative. And with social media at your fingertips now, you're able to get really, really creative without the need for a huge budget. The amount of videos now that go viral in TikTok, and a lot of people, a lot of companies making a lot of money from that, and then brands getting involved that way. There are many different ways to market and brand yourself. So there are many facets of good brand marketing, such as brand personality, the brand image, being either yourself as the company and the artists that you represent, or perhaps you as an artist or producer yourself. How are you coming across? How are you communicating with your audience through social media and other forms? And what is your tone of voice? What are your brand values? What do you stand for? What is at the core that with the music or artist that you're representing? And who and what are your brand associations? These are the kind of questions that you need to ask yourself before coming up with a creative plan as to how you are going to launch that. So, brand identity. Brand identity is how a company or an individual decides to portray itself, and has to do with the visible elements of the brand, from the brand names through to the logos, to the colors, to the design styles, everything that visually represents your brand. So this can be the really exciting part, whether you're going through a relaunch, a rebrand, or whether you are creating this from scratch. This is the exciting part where you get to look and see what is out there, look at what other artists, creatives, or other companies are doing, for instance, and really getting some inspiration for your own branding. So for instance, for Ultimate Sync Access down here, not sure if you can see it very clearly, but for me, I really love the color black and what it represents. We're going to be looking at colors in a bit in this course, but I really like the sleekness of the color black. And through a lot of my companies throughout the years, I've always tried to use the color black where possible, and within the logo designs as well. But for Ultimate Sync Access, I really liked the sleekness as well of the color of silver. And I felt like the two colors went really, really well. And I used an image of headphones, and I took a lot of time with the text font too. So these are also things that need to be considered, is the style of font that you're going to be using within your logo brand design, because this is also really important that represents you and your company, which is going to be used as your trademark, so to speak, for yourself, for your company. So building the brand identity is crucial for a company's success. regardless whether you agree with that or not, it is important. It makes selling your services, your artists, much easier. It's also really important that your brand identity is consistent across all touch points, which means all channels, so that your social media, the consistency with the way that you're communicating, your text fonts, your style of voice, whether that's casual or whether that's formal, which we'll get onto in a bit, needs to be consistent across the board and with your website as well. Because if it's all different on or across all different channels, then it creates confusion as to what your company is about. If there's confusion, then that's going to create distrust with people that are wanting to do business with you or your company. Because with branding and marketing, there's a lot of psychology that goes on subconsciously. So these are things that really need to be taken seriously. So the goal of brand identity is that consumers or the people that license your music are able to quickly and easily recognize your brand in any location. From your logo to your brand colors, your brand identity needs to be unique to stand out. And as I mentioned, this can be done and started, first of all, through brainstorming, getting inspiration for other logos and other artists or companies or creatives that you really like, how they come across, some of the logos that they've used for themselves, and creating ideas first in that way, and creating then a plan as to how you visualize yours going to be. Brand values. Okay, so brand values are also really important. Brand values are the beliefs and principles that define what you or your company stands for. It's having, say, an ethos. So Ultimate Sync Access, for instance, is all about bridging the gaps between music supervisors and creatives. We are here. We stand for empowering creatives in the world of sync. Essentially, that is the whole reason why, which comes into the brand story. This was the whole reason why we set up the company in the first place. Was because when I was starting out, I came from a background of artist development, management, which I've been doing for over 10 years. And also I started out many, many years before that, even as an artist, then moving into vocal coaching and then artist development. After that, I then moved into sync. And I started as a sync agent. And what I noticed was that there was a real, well, for a start, I didn't know that much about the industry. There wasn't a lot of help that I noticed in terms of mentoring. I kind of had to figure it out as I went. And there was just a real struggle for being able to connect with supervisors. And so I really wanted to then further along the line, after I gained a lot of experience, knowledge, and then started in the world of supervision, I really wanted to create something that assisted others that I struggled with at the beginning. And so this has now become a part of the brand story. And I think every brand, regardless of your background or what you specialize in on the music side of things, everyone has their why. Everyone has their reason why they've started their company or why they've decided to be an artist or a producer or so on. And it's also remembering that why and getting that why across as well into your story. So I would say when creating your brand, it's really important to remember that story that you can connect and use to connect with others that will help to connect with your brand. So it helps to serve as a roadmap to guide other important brand related aspects. And remember what your brand's goals are. What is the end goal? These are other questions that you need to ask yourself. And what is your brand communication going to be? How are you going to communicate with those, say, business to business? So I would say to music supervisors and sync agents, or to other key creatives that are interested in your services. And what is your image going to be? How are you going to portray yourself? And through the use of logos and things. And what is your ethos? What do you stand for? Brand values help steer your brand marketing strategy. They serve as constant reminders of what's truly important to your company or yourself as an individual, because it can also get easily lost if it's not set in stone. And it helps to build trust. It helps to build trust when people are looking to work with you or your company or license your music. 43% of consumers will trust a brand whose values align with their own. And remember, a lot of this is done subconsciously, psychologically. So make sure your brand values are visible, well integrated into your website and your social media, and names to logos to colors to design styles. Have a look at those already doing it and how they're doing it, and the ones that are doing it well, that really inspire you and help to create your own. And this applies, like I said, as well, if you're looking to rebrand everything. And everything that visually represents your brand is a part of your brand's identity. Okay, so moving on to the next stage. It is crucial to success. It makes selling everything much easier because people will align with those values. They will trust your company and your brand, and they will want to consistently then do business with you. And they will then hopefully, like in the supervisor's world, put you in their inner circle of trust as those to want to continually license music from. So the goal, as mentioned, is to recognize your brand in any location. And needs to have a strong identity that people then connect with. Okay, so. All right, so brand communication. All right, your brand communication will cover a wide range of activities, from your ads to your social media posts to conversations between companies, supervisors, that which to pitch to, and other creatives as well. So when creating brand communication guidelines, consider what kind of brand personality fits best. Then mull over the following. So diction. What kind of vocabulary will you use when speaking with customers? So customers being like supervisors, sync agents, directors, and those ad agencies, those in the media. Will it be formal or will it be informal? Tone. What tone will you use during customer interactions? Will it be playful? Will it be very professional and serious? Make sure that it matches up with your brand identity. And remember, this is across your emails, any communication. This is on your social media. This is on your website. This is across the board. Remember, keeping it consistent. Colors. Research shows that the proper use of color increases brand recognition by 80%. It also raises the visual appearance by 93%. A further 85% of consumers buy because of color. So we're going to delve into the psychology behind the use of colors used in logos. Okay, so we're now going to be looking at the psychology of colors. So Optimism is generally met with the color yellow, which indicates clarity and warmth. So some of the companies that use yellow are McDonald's, DHL, for instance, IMDb, Denny's, Subway, and obviously, as you can see, quite a few others here. Ferrari. Orange represents being friendly, cheerful, and confident. So Nickelodeon, for instance, Fanta, also Crush, Shutterfly, Stars are some of the brands that have chosen orange. Excitement, youthful and bold are used mainly, represented in the color red. And we have, say, Nintendo, Coca-Cola, Virgin, CNN, Avis, Heinz, and many others there as well. Purple is generally represented with creativity, imagination, and also being wise. Some of those we've got Barbie, Taco Bell, Cadbury's, Lynx, T-Mobile, and others as well. So with blue, generally represents being dependable, strength, and trust. So we have, say, Oral-B, HP, Oreo, Facebook, Vimeo, Dell, many there, Twitter. With green, generally represents being peaceful, growth, and health. So we have, say, Tropicana, Monster, Starbucks, Holiday Inn, Spotify, Animal Planet, and then we go to grey or silver, and we have Apple, Mercedes, Nike, Honda, for instance. So that represents neutral, calm, and balance. So it can give you, and multicolors. We have, say, NBC, Google, eBay, and Windows, for instance. So some things for you to think about as well. Brown gives, say, a rugged appeal as well. So some things to think about when creating your logo as well. All right, so let's go back to the slides. Okay, so brand communication. The visual appeal of your music, for instance, is the major influence on a consumer's buying decision. And again, consumers in our world are the people that license the music from the ad agencies, the music supervisors, anything across all forms of media. So the color, make, look, feel of a product or service that you offer affects 93% of that buying decision. This is followed by texture, which wouldn't really appeal, doesn't really relate to our industry, but it's useful for you to know. That affects 6% of the buying decision. Sounds and smell, which affect 1% of the buying decision. But obviously in our world, the sound will be obviously heavily influenced in regards to the buying decision. But this is backed up with also your branding and your marketing as well. The most important thing is that, as mentioned, again, it's consistent. It may be tempting to use a different tone depending on the channel, but it's crucial, no matter which form of channel, whether this is a social media or email or your website, that your brand communication sticks to your present guidelines. So brand image, while it sounds similar to brand identity, brand image has more to do with consumer perceptions. So brand image is how customers perceive a brand, which is created based on consumers' interactions with a brand. Therefore, everything from your social media posts to your website copy helps create your brand image. So utilize research on your target audience to influence your brand communication and make sure your brand voice and personality match up with your chosen brand identity. Okay, so here are some examples for you to check out. We're going to delve into a few of those to see how the company Song Trader, who recently underwent a rebrand, and how that comes across and what it also makes you think of when you look at the colors they use, the tone of voice, and what that makes you think when looking at their company branding. Okay, so we're going to take a look at Song Trader's branding. They did undergo a rebrand, and many things changed within that. For one, their content used to very much be geared towards the artist. It was also very colorful across their Instagram, but now as we can see that they've gone with the color orange and black. So orange representing, say, confidence, optimism, enthusiasm, warmth, bright. And so here they've gone from a very minimal, clean website here and really clearly, simply explains who they are and what they do. So as you can see, the logo here is just a simple S in orange, with the name Song Trader next to it. And then all your music needs in one place. So both the unique music, we got it, licensing, social media, sonic branding, compliance management, and more. So it just says simply what they offer in a really simple tone of voice and what companies they work with, and then has the different options that you're able to sign up for, but really kind of simplified it for creatives and also for business to business. Their ethos: we power the world with music. And that's the thing, it's just creating just a couple of words, short, simple, but effective. We power the world with music. And so that is what they offer here. I'm not going to go too much in depth with that, but it's clean, it's simple, it's effective. Okay, now let's take a look at the consistency across their branding on their social media. So we're going to go to LinkedIn. Here we go again. We've got the ethos here: we power the world with music. We've got the logo here, keeping that consistency with the colors, the black and the orange, and the image. And then simply stating exactly what the company is. So the world's first data-powered full-stack music licensing platform, with a bit longer bio here, but it's got their mission statement here. So this is also really important to have as well, as to what your mission is, what you stand for. They claim as well that they're the world's largest business-to-business music company. So they've got in there a simple fact that helps to sell themselves, and what they offer in terms of music or strategy, and the kind of results that they can get. And obviously they've got here the kind of companies that they bought out, and then again a little bit more info here. So it is good to kind of use inspiration, but obviously making it your own, because as a creative this won't really apply, but the principles apply. The principles of branding apply. Their content is typically very much geared towards, like with LinkedIn, it is about industry news, And so they're very much geared towards like giving info to a lot of other clients, being brands, ads, anyone that licenses music. And so they're focused on towards the brands here and towards, say, some of the issues that can happen in licensing. And that is what LinkedIn is great for, and this is what they do well. They use content to inform and educate to other businesses as well. And so that can provide inspiration for your LinkedIn. But essentially, as you can see, really driving home the message, what the company is in a couple of words. Let's look at their Facebook. Again, we've got same message here, but sticking with the company colors, which is orange and black. They went for black here, but they've gone for full orange here for Facebook. And again, they've got a few words. Again, this is exactly the same, consistent from their LinkedIn. And here they put together some show reels for Facebook because LinkedIn is a little bit more geared towards industry news and educating, a lot more informative. Whereas Facebook here is just really focused more on some of their successes, highlighted work, and obviously some of the companies that they've acquired. And yeah, mainly more just focus on successes here and keeping update with some of their news as well. But again, as you can see, the colors are still very much black and orange here. So keeping it consistent with the colors of the branding that makes it sleek, it makes it organized and visually appealing as well. So there's a little bit geared towards the creatives, but the majority is informative, again, in keeping with as well, current key trends, market overviews and things like that, which is done really well. Okay, so let's look at the Instagram. Again, as you can see, it's the same thing. We've got a very clean page here. This, again, sticking with the colors and the majority as well. A lot of the content is very similar here. We've got the TikTok music trend report. But obviously visually is different because it caters for the Instagram side of things. So it is worth, if you've got some time to really delve into that, and others as well, not just this, when creating your plan and gaining inspiration as well for your own branding. And check out their YouTube as well. All right, so that typically covers everything that branding entails. So it's a good start for you to really start to think about brainstorming, and whether that's starting from scratch or whether you're going for a rebrand. We've got some great examples here and also some key content for you to go away and think about, which will lead nicely onto our next session, which will be focusing on marketing and then how to market that and using the power of social media to your advantage to get your brand's message across, and how to build those channels as well. And so I hope you enjoyed the content today. And do keep an eye out for the other sessions and other courses that we offer as well. My team do also offer mentoring, including myself. So get in touch with the team via the website or via our social media channel on Facebook, which is Ultimate Sync Access. and that is free in our community to join and to get in touch also if you have any questions. And thank you.